Okay, well, good morning, everybody. It is July 30th, Wednesday. Can you believe we're already at the end of July? But here we are. Thank you for joining me here on Winning Edge Wednesday. I got an awesome concept for you to ponder today, and it is really what this Winning Edge Wednesday is all about. The theory is called the Winning Edge Theory, right? The Winning Edge Theory. I actually learned this from a man named Brian Tracy years ago, and I thought it was very simple and profound. And this is what it states. If you're able to take some notes, write this down. When you are playing at a very high level, competing and playing at a high level, which all of you are, understand that there is a disproportionate benefit and return for being just a little bit better. This is a huge distinction between really successful people versus those who struggle. People who struggle tend to think that in order to make a big improvement in results, in income, then I need to make a dramatic improvement in my performance. But winners in business and peak performers, especially competing at a high level, like we discussed, they understand that just small improvements in performance can bring incredible, disproportionate benefits, returns, and in some cases, exponential rewards. And I believe you'll find that's the case here in our franchise brokering industry, you guys. Great example is Major League Baseball. We'll start with that. Major League Baseball is obviously driven by stats. The number one statistic is a player's batting average. The batting average is the biggest driver of their income and their value to the team. For those of you who are not baseball people, a whole lot of people have a batting average where they're getting on base about 2 out of every 10 at bats. So they have like a 200 batting average, a low 200 batting average. A whole bunch of players will bat 200, 220, 230, 240, 250 in baseball. And of course, at major leagues, we're playing at the highest level. There's a whole bunch of players batting in the very low 200s. Now, when you're batting in the low 200s and you're a major league baseball player, you're doing okay. You're making the league minimum, which probably ranges anywhere between about $700,000 a year salary to maybe 1.5 million. You might be in that $1 million range. So Major League Baseball has a whole bunch of players batting in the low 200s, paying them somewhere around 700, 800, a million to million five, right? Pretty good. But here's the deal is they also have pretty short careers with those low 200 batting averages. But let me share with you what happens when somebody comes in and just a little bit more focused, a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more consistent, whatever it is that they do, whether it's their own preparation or whether it's taking more batting practice or whether it's getting with their batting coach more often and working on the specifics of their swing, but they're doing something and they find a way to get on base one more time out of every 10. Like this guy named Aaron Judge, who plays for the New York Yankees. Currently, he is leading the league in batting average, and it's 340. He's batting 340, you guys. So he's just getting one more hit out of every 10. He's in that 340 as opposed to 240, for example. And I looked it up. Let me share with you what this guy is bringing down. He is making $40 million a year base guaranteed salary for 9 years guaranteed. Yeah, you can't live on that, but it's a good start, right? That's pretty amazing. And of course, what do you think his endorsements are on top of that, right? Another 10, 20, 30 million on top of that, right? So just direct, we go from in Major League Baseball, you go from $1 million a year to $50 million a year because you get one more stinking hit. Okay. Well, what does this mean to our industry? Well, I think you'll find a similar dynamic is at play, except we don't have to be one better out of every 10 at bats, right, you guys? Gosh, if we're just 1 out of 10, if we're at 1 out of 100 better, right? If we can get our conversion from our leads that we're currently getting 1 or 2 or 3 better per 100 opportunities, isn't that possible? And what might the return be there? And would it be disproportionate? Well, we could just look at some direct, simple math when the relationship between the cost of leads and the conversion average commissions and come up with a basic look at this, you guys. But let's say we're investing, $5,000 to generate 100 leads, right? And then out of the 100 leads, we're converting that into 1 transaction, and maybe that commission is around 40 grand, right? So we're investing $5,000 to generate $40,000 over time, right? In this process, in this business system with all the multiple things taking place, but ultimately that's what's going on in terms of the direct relationship between the lead cost and the commission there. But what if you get 1 or 2 or 3 more transactions out of that same 5 to, let's say, $10,000 investment? What happens now? Right now, you're spending the same $5,000 to $10,000 on marketing, and you're taking this to over $100,000 plus. That's very common for that type of dynamic and relationship to take place, you guys, right? So that's a pretty massive difference. And again, that's just the direct math as it relates to cost per leads, doing the simple conversion ratios and looking at it, right? And of course, we know when you do a couple more deals, you increase the likelihood of one of those transactions being multi-unit. And then all of a sudden, boom, the numbers go exponentially disproportionate yet again, right? But here's what's not on this particular spreadsheet, you guys. Here's what's not on the spreadsheet, but is in real life, and that's this. When you convert a few better, right, and you generate $100,000, $200,000 worth of commission from the same $5,000 to $10,000 of marketing investment money, what happens to you? What goes on inside? What happens to your attitude and your mindset about your business when you're converting a little bit better and you're getting those double, triple, quadruple returns? What happens going on inside of you? Wouldn't you agree? Your mindset's different, and that could lead to yet more activity, better connection, seeking opportunities at a higher level because you're vibrating there. And that even takes your conversion to even higher for more disproportionate returns. What happens to your belief in the brands when you got, hey, 2, 3 brands that have just produced for you in the last 6 months as opposed to none or 1? What happens to your confidence in the relationship with the brands when you have a little bit more success? What happens there? How excited are you to introduce another person to the same brand? And you could tell the story about the success you just previously have. What happens then? Is it possible that that kind of energy, that kind of focus, that kind of mindset could then take your conversion ratio yet maybe even higher than before? What happens to your cash flow, guys? When your cash flow is a little bit better, you're able to invest back into your business. And perhaps you get a little bit more bolder, more aggressive with some marketing efforts. Maybe you go for some higher quality, more expensive leads. And what might that do to your conversion ratio? That could potentially take you up another notch yet again. Right. And of course, when your pipeline is a little bit more full with more quality candidates, you start to be more efficient with your time. You're spending less time hoping things work out, chasing people around that aren't really quality committed candidates. So you start being working a little bit smarter. Right? You're spending more time with more high quality candidates, and all of a sudden you're putting yourself in a situation where you're looking at more multi-unit opportunities. And now, boom, it makes another jump, right? This is what happens. This is what you'll see in this industry. In this industry, you'll see people doing over $500,000 in income, and then you'll see people near zero And here's the great news. It's not because they're working 100 times harder, 100 times smarter. It's just that winning edge. They were able to break through with the right edge at the right time, and boom, the rewards are exponential. And that's why you always, always want to be looking for the winning edge. That's what this weekly recording is all about. Perhaps one of these ideas gets you thinking, gets you focused, vibrating at a different level, and maybe you could have a breakthrough in a particular area that could take your business to a small improvement in performance, which can lead to exponential returns and momentum. And when you start getting that swagger in your business, you start networking more, you start raising your game, you start collaborating with higher level investors, you start having a pipeline of referrals that are in the multi-unit sector. And now all of a sudden, not only is your conversion rate double, but your revenue per conversion has tripled, quadrupled, 10 times. And that's what dominance is all about. And with today's modern technology and information sharing and the power of momentum today, you will see that there are people in every sector that are just dominating their field. And they're not dominating because they're that special. They're dominating because they were able to tap into this dynamic, this unique relationship between disproportionate rewards for being just a little bit better. That's what it's all about, right? Keep looking for the winning edge, keep engaging, right? Keep believing, keep pounding, keep bringing your best every day, because your best is good enough, right? And when you have those full pipelines and full hearts, you can't lose. You guys, thanks for jumping on the call today. Have an awesome day. I look forward to talking to you next week. And I'm trying to stop recording now. All right.